Hey there everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Claire and I'm the Crochet Lady. If you are a returning viewer, then hi, welcome back. It's great to see you again. I have a question for you. Do you ever find yourself with a big box of scrap yarn and have no idea what to do with it? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you how I use my scraps to create something meaningful. I'll be crocheting a Claire Bear in celebration for her first birthday. It has been a year since I released this pattern, and to celebrate I'm going to be crocheting a scrappy Claire Bear. So today's project is meaningful to me because it is her first birthday, and of course I'm going to give you tips and show you how I do my color changes, how I cohesively choose colors. So I categorize my scraps pretty consistently throughout the year. I basically have a basket like this. This is just an IKEA basket, and in here I have my ends. So anytime that I have an end that is too long to just throw away, but also too short to be like rolled up into a little ball, I put in this bag, and this is very handy for finer details. Like if I need to crochet like a teeny tiny bow for a project, or even do like blush on cheeks when crocheting amigurumi, this is a good bag to go to. And then I have the smaller little balls here in this basket. There is no real organization here, it's just thrown in, but what they do have in common is that they're all mostly the same size. And then I do have these small skeins. They're not even medium skeins, but these, like, they're not scrap, but they're also not enough for a full project, and these I normally keep with my main yarn. If you are crocheting a project that uses the scrap yarns or multiple colors to crochet a project, you're going to want to stick to the same contrasted colors. So what I mean by that is, if you see these colors right here, they all go together because they are of the same shade. They're more like pastel-y, softer colors. And then if you were to take the purple away, for example, and put this one there, you can see that now that we've got a higher contrasted color against the softer colors, it doesn't look too great. So you're going to have to stick to the same colors. I will show you here though, if we were to take this skein right here and we were to put these two colors, these are all the same contrast colors. So we still have blue, we had blue there, now we have blue here, but it is just of the same contrast. It's the deeper, darker tones. So if you want to crochet something that looks really cohesive but has a lot of different colors, try and stick to the contrasts, the same contrasts for that project. So I'm going to start with the ears, and I think for the inner ear I'm going to be using this light pink, almost white, and then an orange and a yellow in these lighter pastel shades. I'm going to do the ears different colors, so let's do that. I think I did forget to mention that I'm going to be using all like chenille yarn for this. I'm sticking to the same weight for this whole project simply because it makes it easier. I'm not mixing any blanket yarn or anything, and I suggest that you do the same. If anything, I would recommend using like a different weight yarn for patches or some additional decoration, but for the main bear itself, I'm going to be crocheting it with all the same chenille yarn, not the same brand, but basically the same weighted yarn with a 4.5mm hook. We have the two inner ears. Now we're going to do the outer ears. Okay, I have finished the little ears, and I'm actually really happy with these colors for the ears. I'm planning on using this purple for the head, so I think they will actually go really well. I'm really happy with that. And then for the arms, which I'm going to be doing next, I'm going to be using these two colors. I'm really not too sure about this bright like corally color, but I think with the blue from the body it might actually work. Alright, so we have just completed the arms and I'm pretty happy with that. We still have some yarn left over, and once again I'm going to put that to the side. I'm not going to put it away just yet in case I need to add some accents of some of these to pull the whole bear together. So I'm going to put that aside, and now I'm going to be working on the legs. And the reason why I'm doing the arms and the legs is because you work those in. So as you're crocheting the body, you crochet the arms and legs into the body. So that's why I'm going to do those first. Now I need to find some colors for the legs, so give me a second. I have found these 3 whites. This one is a spotty white like the purple, speckled rather. So I'm going to try and crochet a leg out of this, and then the other leg I'm going to do pink. Now whether I regret doing the white because it is just so bright, that we'll figure out when we get there. But for the most part I think I'm happy with these two as the legs, because these kind of might go, especially with the speckles matching that one. I guess that's the thing about crocheting a scrappy bear, is that sometimes it doesn't make sense, but it all works out in the end, and I'm trusting the process. Very often when you are crocheting something, even with like something that's not with scrappy yarn, you have to trust the process, and if it doesn't work out in the end, that's okay. You can just try again. Just crocheting for 12 years, I figure out, you know, sometimes mistakes are unavoidable, and choices are just something that you have to learn with if you do regret them later. So that's something that is going to be put to the test today, especially with the scrappy bear. And I guess another question I could answer is it worth keeping scraps? Because it can be quite like mundane to maintain, you know, all these teeny tiny little balls. And to that I say yes, just because in my experience, if you are working with amigurumi, the scraps do come in handy quite often. And I think yes, it definitely is. And it's something that you can work on. You don't necessarily have to use scraps as you collect them. So for example, collect scraps for a year, and then after that year you can do something with it. It's not something that you have to do every week or every month. So it is something that can kind of be there in the background all of the time. That's what I do, at least. I just have these scraps laying around, and then when I find a use for them like this, a meaningful use, then I will use them. So that's always good. Okay, so I've only gotten about that far with this foot, with this speckled yarn. So now I'm going to have to take just a regular white which matches, and I'm going to pull that through. So what I'll probably do now is I'm going to change the angle of the camera so you can have a look at exactly what I'm doing, to show you how I hook on a new color, because what has happened now is like it's in the middle of the row. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so right here I have made at the start of my single crochet, and instead of pulling this tail to finish the single crochet, because there's not much left, I am going to put my new color on my hook with a slip knot like that, and I'm going to use that slip knot to complete that single crochet. Then you're ready to go into your next stitch. So I'm going to make a single crochet. And then if you really wanted to, you can take these two ends and just tie them in a knot, like so. And then I'm going to leave those ends into the foot. Oh, let's take this off. I'm going to leave the ends in this foot like that. and then as I crochet, that will be tucked in. And then there is the color securely on, and the ends are tied so they won't come undone. And that's how I pull the new color through. Okay, so we have the first leg, and again, this is how much of the white yarn we have. So we have the 2 ears, we have the 2 arms, and we have the 2 legs, which I think look good so far. Now I'm going to be starting with the head, and I'm hoping I have enough of this. I think I do. If not, I have a similar purple, which I can use with this. It's a scrappy bear, that's the point of it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the head and add the eyes, and then we'll meet back to see what color we should do for the body. So I've just finished doing the half of the head until the point where I need to add the safety eyes. And I have these very beautiful orange safety eyes that I have hand painted. If you are curious on how to do hand painted safety eyes, it's super easy. And if you want me to do a tutorial, I can definitely do that. Go ahead and comment below if you're interested in that. But these beautiful safety eyes are hand painted using glitter and UV resin under a UV lamp. So you can easily make these yourself. I'm going to add these to my plushie between row 8 and 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's 5 stitches in between. So somewhere like that. Let me put this in. I'm going to secure these, and then that is actually so cute. I'm going to secure these properly and then continue doing the rest of the body until we get to the rest of the head, until we get to the body. I've decided I'm going to use these 2 blues for the body. I'm going to alternate them, so do 2 rows of this, 2 rows of that, so kind of it has a stripe like a shirt on, and then we'll work the arms and legs in. And then I've also tested that the ears, oh, it's going to look a little funny right now, but the ears look really good with the purple. And I'm really happy so far. And this is something that you can also try as you're working through doing scrap projects. See what works and what doesn't, because maybe this didn't match, and then I could quickly make some other ears, and that would be also okay. So I'm going to continue doing that, and then we'll meet back once I have joined the body color. So right here I am going to sew on the ears as well as crochet the snout and sew the snout on. Now in the pattern it doesn't tell you to do this at this point, but for the sake of this Clay Bear not looking so awkward without ears or a snout as I'm crocheting the body, I am doing it now just because yeah, it just looks like a weird ball with eyes at this point. And then I also wanted to make sure that the colors that I was choosing for the body was actually going to go with the head and the ears and the snout. So that's what I'm doing at this point, is just sewing everything on so I can see what it looks like. If you want to try this pattern and do this first as well, then that's also okay. Especially with the scrappy Clay Bear, I think this is a smart move. Alright, I am super happy with how the face looks. I love all the colors mixed together. I am now doing the body in this blue with these blue stripes, and I think that will also kind of go with everything. In this next row, I am adding the arms. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate the brightness of the arms versus the legs. So for example, this I will be putting on this side, and then the darker of the 2 legs I will be putting on the opposite side. So there's that like crossover between light and dark. Instead of having both dark on the same side, like on the left or on the right, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to attach the arms, and then I'm going to show you how I do that. It's just crocheting them in, which if you have done amigurumi before, then you just crochet through the arm and the body. That's how it works, but I'm going to show you anyway in case you are new to doing these types of amigurumi projects. Okay, to crochet your arm in, you're just going to go through you're going to line up the 4 stitches on the arm with the 4 stitches that are on the body over here. You are going to go into the arm first, then the stitch on the body, yarn over, make a single crochet. You're going to go into the next one, and the stitch on the body, first the stitch on the arm, next on the body, then the last stitch, you can tuck that tail in, and you're going to go through the body and the arm, And then you can go ahead and continue making your single crochets. And then the ends, just tuck those in nicely. We are almost there with our scrappy Claire Bear. She is almost done. It's just doing the stomach and then adding the legs, and she is going to be done. Now, as I'm doing this color change, I am going to chat to you really quickly about why I came up with this pattern, what the motivation behind it was. And you might be surprised, but most crocheters have a bear pattern. If you go to your favorite crocheters, most of them will have a bear. And there is a reason for that, and that is because most of the amigurumi plushie shapes have a standard shape to it. And when I started crocheting and writing patterns for selling on my shop, I needed a bear pattern because most amigurumis have a bear shape. So things like a cow or like a giraffe or any type of animal really has a certain shape. So once you are able to write or figure out how you want your own shape and style of crochet to be, you can go ahead and crochet most of the other animals or other characters with that same shape, same style. So when I crocheted this, I decided, okay, I want to form my own way of crocheting, my own way of shaping an amigurumi character. And this is how I came up with the Claire Bear. And then from that, I have actually also done a cow lovey, which is basically the exact same pattern, but it's just you don't stuff it. And obviously the hooves look different, and there are some characteristics that will change, like the ears and all of that. And I was able with the cow to make it completely no-sew, including the ears and the horns and everything. So if you're looking for a cute lovey pattern, then the cow pattern is also really cute, which I'll link below. So when I crocheted the Claire Bear, I got my shape of how I wanted my plushies to be. And my next one that I would love to do is a giraffe, because the hooves are the same kind of shape as the cow, so I can use that. I can use elements from that pattern. And then you just crochet the neck a little longer before doing a longer face, and you still have a muzzle or a snout, the same as with the Claire Bear, but it's obviously going to be a little bit longer to match the giraffe shape. So that's why I designed it, actually, was to kind of establish the type of shape that I would want my plushies. So another thing that I did want for this Claire Bear is for it to have a flat bottom so it could sit nicely, because I know a lot of the crocheters, when they are working in legs and things, it's kind of, the legs are under the body, so when you want the plushie to sit, it doesn't sit very firmly. It kind of falls over because the legs are directly underneath. So what I wanted to do for mine is to have the legs a little bit in front of the body and have a flat base, basically. And it worked out. That was one of the designs that I really spent a long time on working, to have that flat base with the legs in front. So that is the motivation behind why I did that. And I just love the Claire Bear. I also actually did a modification to turn it into the Grinch for Christmas. I had a Grinch modification, which I think is still up on my Instagram for free. So if you're watching this around Christmas time, then I have a Grinch mod on my Instagram for this. And that was a perfect example of how you could take a basic shape. The only thing that I did with the Grinch was make his head a little bit longer. And obviously the Grinchy elements I added. And then what else did I do? I think I did a polar bear. I did a whole bunch of them. I might just put the pictures up on the screen now. But they are just so easy to make. It's such a simple shape: arm, leg, head, body, ears, and nose. That's it. Thinking back now, I wish I make more of these, but hey, I'm busy with it now, and we're doing something cool with our scraps, and we're making a really cool scrappy bear, and I actually love that. I'm also curious to know how you guys use your scrap yarn, because what I do with them is just put them in a basket, and I use them until I wait until I have a purpose to use them. But I do know a lot of people crochet a plushie and then use the scraps or the kind of straggly bits of yarn to use as stuffing. I know some people use acrylic yarn ends and things to kind of make new yarn with. They have those cat hair brushes and they kind of spin the yarn together. It's actually a project that I did with my daughter a while ago, was to start experimenting with that idea of brushing out acrylic yarn and then respinning it into something new. That could be a cool video. But I am interested to know what you guys do with your yarn, especially when it's something that I don't necessarily think about a lot. I just throw it in a basket and it sits in the corner of my craft room until I need it. Whereas I think there might be people who more proactively use their ends like on a weekly or a monthly basis. So I'm interested. Leave me a comment below. Alright, I have finished putting on the legs as well as doing the body. I love these stripes. They look so good. And obviously, like I predicted, this white foot might look a little funny, but I did have a plan to put a little patch on to make it more like traditionally scrappy. So I'm gonna crochet like a little square to stick on there to make it look like patchwork. So I do have a plan to balance that out, but so far it looks so cute. And I did a little bubble in purple for the tail. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stuff the body, I'm going to close the bottom, and then we can do all the final details like blush, like little patches. We'll do all of that afterwards to complete our scrappy Care Bear. So we have finished off our little Claire Bear, our scrappy Claire Bear. That's the theme we're going for here. And I'm going to now take some time to crochet teeny tiny little squares that I can sew on like patchwork. I'm probably going to do 3. I'm probably going to do 1 for this leg, 1 for like on the body, and then 1 for the back. Maybe 1 for the head at the back too. So I'm going to work through all the colors that I have kept aside of each color that I've used, and I'm going to kind of make little squares. I'm probably just going to chain 5, I think, and then do like 4 rows. I think if I do a patch with this leftover green, because there's not much left, it would be just enough for a patch. It would look cute on this little leg, so I'm going to do that. I love it when things just work out, because I've just done a little square and I've used up literally the leftover little piece that I had to create this little square. And I'm going to weave these ends because, like I said previously, I'm going to use some black cotton yarn to sew it on, because I want to be able to like see the actual stitches like it's a sewn on patch. So I've half sewn this patch on, and I realized I don't actually like the black because there's no real black on the body. This is looking a little funny, so I'm going to grab a cotton yarn that is almost the same shade as this green patch, and then hopefully it'll look better because I'm not loving the black right now. Okay guys, I'm obsessed. What I did differently was I used the cotton yarn to actually crochet the pouch. There was definitely a texture change needed to differentiate to what was the body yarn and what was the actual patch yarn. And I think these little patches that were crocheted with a slightly thinner yarn, you could also do it with acrylic yarn, as long as there's a difference in texture, I think is what was missing. And I did a patch here, 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 and here, and I think it balances out the colors quite nicely. And I'm so stinking excited that she is done. I think she looks gorgeous. And if you are wanting to make your own scrappy Claire Bear or just a normal Claire Bear, I will leave the pattern down below. YouTube has mentioned to me that 70% of people who watch my videos are not subscribers. So if you are not subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so you get a notification when I upload, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!